let me make this clear. When I speak of Israel, I am not speaking of the people who occupy those territories known as Israel right now in Northeast Africa. No, I'm not talking about the people that rule there and dominate and have been dominating that land since times past. I am talking about the people of Israel scattered throughout the four corners of the earth, wherever they may be, whether they are here on the Western Hemisphere of North, Central, South America and the adjoining islands, or on the Eastern Hemisphere in places like Africa, even Europe, as far as Far East Asia. Some of our people are in India. You got to understand that Israel is not just confined and constricted to a geographic landmass. Israel, or Yasharola, are the people wherever they may be on the face of the planet, because our Bible said that our people would be scattered throughout the four corners of the earth. Many of us in ancient times were dispersed into other parts of the earth, taken as captives in those lands and held fast. Okay, so when I'm speaking of the people of Israel, I am not talking about those Eastern Europeans that converted to the Israelite way of life or Judaism. What they did, you see, they took our way of life. The root of the word Judaism is Judah, which is one of the tribes of the 12 tribes of Israel. They took our ways of life and converted them into a religious practice. It would be no different than if I were to go to, say, China and begin to put on Chinese garments and speak in Mandarin and partake in the Chinese feast days and holidays. Now, it doesn't matter how much of their customs and practices that I take on, it would never change my nationality to that of a Chinaman. I would never be a Chinese person by nationality. This is an example. Please, I hope that the listener is not getting offended and taking this as some sort of an insult. I am using this as an example to explain how the ways, folkways, mores, and ways of life of a particular group of people, a nation of people, was then converted into a religious practice. Okay? It would be the same if I were to go to France and I begin to eat crepes and speak in fluent French. Though I'm speaking in French and partaking in French culture, it would never change my nationality. My nationality is one of an Israelite, a so-called Negro, a so-called black man, a so-called African American, and various by names that we've been given all across the Americas and even into North America, South America, and the islands. We've been given different names like Jamaicans, Haitians, Puerto Ricans, Dominicans, Cubans, Trinidadians, Barbadians. If you go over into North Africa, on the continent of Africa, you have people called the Amazigh, the Berbers, the Mauritanians, the Moors, Morocco. We've been given so many different names. And also, might I add, depending on what captivity we went in, because remember, there were times that our people, all 12 tribes of Israel, especially the northern tribes, were once called Greeks. During the Greek captivity, we were also called Greeks, although our root nationality, our actual real-time nationality, was that of an Israelite. Why? Because we took on the customs of a Greek people. We even spoke Greek. We partook in their Greek holidays and feast days. We partook in their gymnasium shit. Many of our people started eating pork, which is forbidden to eat. It is an abominable meat. It's listed in the Old Testament in the Tanakh or the Torah or the Levitical, the meats and the foods that are what am I trying to say here? The foods that are permissible to eat. There we go. Yeah. So many of our people were called Romans at the time, although that did not change their national descent. They were Roman citizens, no different than I would be called a United States citizen. Now, the United States incorporated was meant for what? Military industrial affairs and commerce for the European sons. Now, does that make me a European? No. I am a United States citizen, but my nationality is one of, you can call me a Moor, because at various times during history, our people were called Moor. We were called Berber, we were called Amazigh, but our true nationality is that was given to us by the Most High God, and that is Israel, transliterated from the Paleo-Hebrew, which would be Yasharola. And please don't mind me, don't mind if I'm pronouncing it right, incorrectly, because many of the languages that we speak were forced on us. So being that I'm speaking English because we were conquered by the English and sold by the English and traded as slaves by the English and worked on their plantations, I'm speaking in English. Okay? So, to reiterate the point, the people that are in the land of Israel right now are not the true Israelites. And as a matter of fact, and I'll provide scriptural support. Scriptural support says that the land of Israel, the land of my forefathers, our forefathers, I'm talking to Israel, all 12 tribes, it said that the land would be trodden down by the Gentile. Who are the people that are there in great power and seated in high seats of political power? Are they actual bloodline Israelites of the ancient Judaic people? No. These are people that went into the land after it was signed over to them by Lord Balfour. Look it up, 1948, the Balfour Declaration. It was vacant land over there. Vacant. Why? Because our holy book told us that the children of Israel would not be in the land in great mass and in great power. They would be dispersed and scattered throughout other parts of the earth, right? So then that land being vacant was then signed over via the Balfour Declaration to a group of Eastern Europeans that practiced Judaism. Though they know how to speak some parts of Hebrew, which is basically not even pure Hebrew, it's Yiddish. Though they speak some of the things and have partaken in some of the feast days and rituals and ceremonies, they are not in fact the true people of that area. I mean, let's keep it a buck. So when I speak of Israel, I'm talking about you so-called black people, so-called indigenous Americans. We've been given so many other names. I've mentioned a lot of them, as we have several different by names, okay? I'm going to keep this video short, guys. Don't forget to hit the like, share, leave a comment, subscribe, da-ba-da-ba-da. Out. Holla at you later. Peace.